White there. That's the first time we've mentioned him maybe. What a great job he did at Daytona. Sat on the pole, had a top 5 finish, in contention to win that race, the entire race.
And he's the reason why Timothy Peters won the race. Timothy said after the race he was content to sit there with Todd, but then here comes Jason White. Jason wasn't content to sit anywhere. He dove to the outside of the track. Timothy was just fortunate enough to get barely up in front of Jason, pushed Timothy to the victory. Another guy we hadn't said a lot about, solid run for Ricky Carmichael. Logging laps right there, running down along in the 11th spot, trying to grab 10th away from Jason White.
Remember, a new race team here, Turner Motorsports. Started a little bit last year, but they're going to run full-time with Ricky. This is a full-time deal, multi-year deal with Monster Energy Drinks. So great things in store for Ricky Carmichael.
And a great pass there on the 23 of Jason White. So Ricky Carmichael doing it behind the wheel. He's actually going to get behind the camera later on today. He's going to Daytona to help with part of the broadcast on Speed.
Excellent.
Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, you know how Ricky Carmichael's getting down to Florida?
I'm guessing he's going to fly.
Kevin Harvick.
He is going to fly with Kevin Harvick, and Delana just came over and says, you know, Ricky's really itching to get down there because he's all excited about the racing tonight. She says, I have a feeling he may have to wait around a little while and celebrate with us in Victory Lane.
He designed that track down there in Daytona. He's really proud of it too. He said he had to be careful how he designed it. He wanted to make it really hard, but he didn't want to make it too hard because he didn't want all them those riders yelling at him over it.
How about he's making a pass on Johnny Sauter, one of our championship contenders we know this year. Ricky Carmichael up there racing side by side with him.
And we talked about getting a lap back from Aaron's. Taylor Malsom did that, and now he's contending for a top 10 spot. Both these guys are all over Sauter. It looks like maybe Carmichael's going to make it happen on the bottom.
I'm wondering maybe if Taylor Malsom put tires on in his last pit stop after he got the lucky dog. If this thing goes green the rest of the way, that's going to be a great move by his bunch.
Taylor Malsom on the high side. Ricky Carmichael back there in the Monster Energy number 4 Chevrolet. He's down at the bottom of the track. Johnny Sauter in his Chevy Silverado running just in front of them in the 13.
Look at Taylor, a good strong run into the corner, but he can't quite hold it on the way off, and here comes Carmichael on the bottom.
There's the Zachary Toyota Tundra of David Starr in that number 81.
David was another one of those guys that pitted on that last round of pit stops. Last caution flag, pitted on lap number 77.
He runs 13th. And then take a look. The gold medal bobsled designer, Jeff Bodine, running in the 14th spot.
What a nice job by Jeff in this race. It's been several years since he's been in a Camping World truck and doing a very credible job.
Donnie Leah back there. Behind him in the 07, Austin Dillon making the pass in the number 3.
Well, this is just what Austin Dillon was looking for. I know he'd like to be running up in the top 5, but he just is glad to be running after Daytona. Made one lap, came to Atlanta, qualified strong, top 5 run, and now he's just logging
right
laps.
There. Really off the 3 and 4, just keep getting off the 2, slow and straight. Can we make it to the?
That's his dad and his spotter helping that young man, Mike Dillon, a former nationwide racer.
Donnie Leah. We were talking about Donnie Leah. If we would have run the race on Friday night, he would have probably missed the birth of his first child, but he was able to get home for that and saw the birth of his child, and then made it back to Daytona to race on Saturday night. Kevin
Harvick hugging that yellow line as he has led 63 of the 93 laps we've run from Atlanta. The most important one he wants to lead is the last one. Will Kyle Busch come up and challenge? How about Steve Wallace in his first ever Camping World Truck Series start running in the top 3? Todd Bodine had issues, but he was able to rebound off of that, and he's battling for the top 10 and top 5 spots. Let's go down to the pits and Adam Alexander.
And Rick, you were looking at the tire that came off of Mike Skinner's truck. He made an unscheduled stop at lap 95. This is the reason why. And when you look at the tire, very, very fortunate that he didn't have a bigger issue than just having to make an unscheduled stop. I've not seen one come off a truck that looks like this in quite some time, maybe ever. The bad news is they have lost a great deal of track position. The good news is we are in the middle of a green flag run, and in the next 15 or 20 laps, everyone in that lead pack going to have to come down, get tires and fuel. So it could cycle through and they could be okay, but for now, Skinner has a good day that is gone for naught. He's currently scored back in the 7th position. Not bad when you consider what's happened.
Check out the battle for 3rd. Those Billy Blue trucks going side by side. Phil, Mike Skinner now just rides around and prays there's not a caution. If the caution doesn't fly and these other trucks have to come to pit road, it'll swing from a huge disadvantage into an advantage for him. He will be making good time on these new tires while these other guys are sliding around on Oaklands. So if the caution doesn't fly, watch for Skinner to resurface in the top 5.
We saw a battle there between Steve Wallace and his teammate Eric Almirola. There's the difference between 1 and 2. Kevin Harvick in front of Kyle Busch. Then a ways back from Kyle Busch to Steve Wallace. Kyle Busch running second. He's just about 2.5 seconds behind Kevin Harvick.
All these guys banking on another caution flag, another pit stop. They certainly don't want to do it under green like Adam was talking about, but we're getting within 15 or 20 laps of doing that. There's Matt Crafton. He made repairs. He's back on the racetrack running in the 28th position right now.
Yeah, Matt Crafton has completed 67 laps.
I want you to take a look at Taylor Malsom right here. He's moved his way all the way up to the 7th position. Remember, he just got the lucky dog just a few minutes ago, right? Well, he pitted on lap number 78. I think he put tires on then. Hey, if this thing goes green, he can go the rest of the way. He right now is running in the 7th position. He's not that far behind our leader. I'm telling you, he may be in great position if this thing goes green, Adam.
Well, you're exactly right, Phil. And to confirm, he did take tires when he came down under caution about 25 laps ago, and they feel good about where they are. Dan Stillman, the crew chief atop the pit box, crossing his fingers. This race does, in fact, stay green. And he's not the only driver that has this kind of strategy going on at this stage of the race.
He's also got a lot of company right behind him too, Phil. He's running in 7th, and you look all those trucks. That's 8th, 9th, 10th, all the way back to 11th or 12th. Following in his tire tracks.
Right before our last commercial, I was looking, and was from 7th to 14th. There was 1 second between 7th to 14th.
Maybe a tire loose or something.
Problem for Jeff Bodine in that 95.
Coming to you. 3,800.
He had got the Aaron's lucky dog, and now he's got problems. Ray Dunlap, what's going on?
Well, Rick, just wanted to give you an update. What I'm hearing down on my end is lap 114 to 116 is the window that everybody's in here based on when they need to come to the pits if this thing stays green. I just talked with Ernie Cope, and he said, we've got 4 tires, and we're definitely going with 4 when we pit. We were just hoping it'd be under yellow. But we're getting within about 8 laps of these guys maybe having to do green flag stops.
I'm telling you, Taylor Malsom is in the driver's seat. Now, if they pit under green, Kevin Harvick and some of the guys running right up front, they could probably get back out, maybe without losing a lap, because he's about 15, 16 seconds ahead of Taylor Malsom. And then if the caution flag were to come out, he would have fresher tires than Taylor Malsom, and he would be in great shape. If it goes green the rest of the way, watch out for Taylor Malsom.
And Mike Skinner, this is making me nervous. I love when the drama starts to build, and it's getting dramatic here late in the going.
Closing in on the final 20 laps of racing from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick's out in front now, but he has to come to pit road.
My truck isn't something you want to see in your rearview mirror.
My truck is a 3,400-pound precision-guided sledgehammer.
I guess you could say my truck likes to take the path less traveled.
My truck never gets claustrophobic in tight spaces.
My truck doesn't haul tools, but hardware, that's a different story.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Tough trucks, tough racing.
Welcome back. The 07 of Donnie Leah has brought out our 6th caution of the day. We were expecting green flag pit stops. They're not going to happen now. We'll see a bunch of trucks dive onto pit road when they open pit road here in just a moment.
And what a huge break for all those guys up front. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Steve Wallace, Eric Almirola, top out it. Everybody that had to make another pit stop. This is an incredible break. Horrible for Mike Skinner. he was hoping that everyone would make a green flag pit stop. And I'm telling you, Taylor Malsom and David Starr were the two guys that were in the driver's seat if this thing went green the rest of the way. Let's take a look here. This is coming off turn number 4. Look at the right of your screen, way up. Right there, that's him right there. Let's see if he makes, he may not make any contact, but the tire was down.
That's why he's up there, is because he had a flat tire, and he didn't hit the wall, I don't believe, but
very close.